In the back of the book segment tonight, the importance of the Latino vote. This key demographic, which made up 10% of the electorate this year, overwhelmingly supported President Obama by 71%. Just 27% voted for Governor Romney. Well, conservatives have taken notice in their post-election analysis of immigration policy.
I think Republicans can change their position, be a lot more open to actual amnesty with enforcement, amnesty everything short of citizenship, and to make a bold change in their policy.
Joining me now to analyze from New York, Jose Antonio Vargas. He's a journalist and an illegal immigrant living in America. And from San Antonio, Texas, Henry Bonilla. He's a former Republican congressman. Gentlemen, great to see you both. Jose, let's start with you on this because, look, Republicans see this landscape, and it's ugly for them right now. I mean, this was an appalling number of Latinos supporting Republican candidates and supporting Mitt Romney out there. And the argument is, if Republicans just embrace amnesty, then Latinos will vote for Republicans. Do you buy that argument?
Well, I mean, I should point out two things. One, it's not just Latinos who voted overwhelmingly for the president. It's actually also Asian American voters. Asian American voters actually, what, 72% of their vote went to the president. That's an even bigger margin than the Latino vote. And both of these blocks, the Latino vote and Asian Americans, care about immigration reform, not amnesty, which is what people on Fox News always, the word that people you know throw around in here. We want some sort of a process.
So for the sense of argument, for the sake of argument, just call it what you want. Immigration reform. So let me again, if Mitt Romney, I want you to your honest opinion here. If Mitt Romney had come out and said, I am for immigration reform, I will pursue that in my first term, do you think Mitt Romney would have won 50% of the Latino vote?
He certainly would have won a lot bigger percentage than he did.
Really?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look, I mean, I think what was really missing, and I'm saying this as somebody who actually followed Governor Romney around in the past year, is the empathy gap. Right? Using terms like illegal aliens to refer to people, using words like self-deportation, which is really divorced from reality. I mean, that was like a big no-no, not just in the Latino community, but in the Asian community. And that's what happened.
So let's go to you, Henry. You heard the analysis there. It's just, if Mitt Romney argued for immigration reform, he would have won the majority of Latinos. See, I think what happens at that point is Barack Obama comes along and says, well, you're for immigration reform, but we're going to actually be for affirmative action for these poor Latinos and other immigrants. We're going to offer a pathway, the citizenship for their relatives, and we're going to ultimately push for Voting Rights Act for all of these millions of people who are here illegally. That's what we're going to do. You try to outbid us on that. Then I think you get into an endless bidding war for the people.
Well, all of that is pandering, and that never works. I represented a congressional district for 14 years that was 65% Hispanic. And people try to stereotype us all the time and say, hey, all we want to talk about is immigration. And Hispanics want to talk about economic opportunity and individual responsibility, believe it or not. And if you go to these neighborhoods and take a message that's inclusive without trying to pander and say that I've got a specific agenda for you just because you're brown, then you're successful. We did that during the Bush campaigns and got record numbers during that time. Never reached 50%, but if Republicans can get mid-40s, you win elections. You look at the way the message is taken in different communities. John McCain in Arizona has polled over the years in the 70s with Hispanics. Jeb Bush did well in Florida. We got governors in Nevada and New Mexico. But it's not about amnesty or immigration. It's about being inclusive, talking about economic opportunity. The majority of Hispanics simply want to be mainstream Americans.
Yeah, and I think
a lot of people lose sight of that.
Absolutely.
And I think, Jose, also people like Marco Rubio, Susana Martinez, not just because ethnically they're in tune with Latinos, but they approach issues, I think, in a substantive, passionate, and in a way. Well, George Bush was a compassionate conservative, but he also delivered Barack Obama to the White House. So I think at that point, Republicans say, okay, what do you do? He was very compassionate, and he ended up being extremely unpopular. So it can't be just that. You have to have a message that's all-inclusive with social issues, economic issues, and others.
Yeah. No one can deny that he won big elections in Texas, and he won the presidency twice.
Yeah,
so he knew how to win
but,
elections.
But he couldn't speak at his own convention because he was so unpopular. Thanks, guys.